Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to the Offworld Trading Company. So, this is week 2 of 7 of the campaign. So, last week we defeated our competition. We crushed them actually. And now we have to pick another one of 3 locations. And I've been looking at it and thinking about it, how to do this in a strategic manner. So currently we are placed second in the top 8 of 8 players, and this map, the Maric Vallis, has us playing against Yoji 5 and Frank Dawson, who are the number 1 and the number 3 players. So I was thinking, if we actually play on this map and we win, we will be better than the other 2 most strongest of the competitors. So we will prevent them from getting ahead of us by playing against other players. So I think actually for this one we're gonna go with this one. This has a China subsidy level 1, so there's no bonus here. And we're just gonna go with that. So let's move onwards to hiring staff. So we have more budget now because we made some money in the last mission. And we have the option to upgrade our solar panels, get ourselves a greenhouse farm engineer. Also, we can get ourselves a pleasure dome manager, a patent lab scientist, solar condenser, or we can get some specialist upgrades. It's unfortunate that solar panels are the only power source that we can boost here. So let's there was something about this. Let's go back. Yes, here. We can just hover over it. So it starts with a warehouse and no laboratory modules allowed. So what was the deal with the warehouses? To be honest, I'm not quite sure what warehouses do. So I'm not sure what we're going to focus on just yet. So let's just look at the big picture, what's going to be useful. We see that food has a high price relative to other starting commodities. And the end game products are all very highly placed in terms of pricing. Minerals are going to be rare again, so we'll really have to pay attention to that. So getting a patent lab, we can only get a temporary one, we can't buy one permanently, that's unfortunate. So if we're going to focus on the end game products, like the electronics and glass and chemicals, we will need to mine our elementals better. So going for the elemental quarry, where were you? That's the one thing that we can't upgrade, of course. Yes, there's a metal mine here, there's the chemical refinery. Okay, so is there an endgame product that's... So we have the steel mill, sure. So all the other ones are just as they are. Well, I'd say, let's see, is there a... Of course, glass kiln is the only one that's not there. Right, let's go with chemical. Let's permanently augment our staff with a chemical engineer. Core sample ×2. Which is also good to actually get. So that time, every game we can get ourselves 2 core samples. And we're gonna keep those. So if we run out of materials, like for example in the previous game where we needed more water, but there was just not a good way to get it. Now we have an option of just generating, just sampling more and potentially digging up water. So I think that is a good long-term strategy. So let's launch. We also start off with better cash from previous situations. Or maybe that doesn't have any impact on the game. So let's go. A new generation of great capitalism. Let's see, electronics factory strike. The strike will reduce the output of electronic factories. Okay, so that might not be what we want to focus on. So the game is paused again. So let's see. So this one starts with the colony warehouse, and this one requires glass. So focusing on glass might be good. And to make glass, we will need silicon. And I also believe we need some oxygen.
High levels of iron found.
For now, let's do the scanning game.
Found. Medium levels of water found.
Our competitors are gonna settle early.
High levels of carbon found.
There's a lot of carbon here. That's very good.
Medium levels of silicon found.
That means it's unlikely that someone is gonna corner the market of that. Okay, some iron sources here. Aluminium. Water. Lake beds.
Ooh, a geothermal vent. That will be useful.
Thermal vents. We still don't have a geothermal power plant engineer, so we can't actually build those just yet. So there's quite a lot of resources revealed already. If you have a look at it, there's 51 carbon, so carbon at the low end is going to be pretty plentiful. The high end is not. Aluminium is going to be relatively rare, it looks like. So focusing on aluminium might not be a bad... Oh wow, okay, someone already claimed this. Yeah, okay, so that's why it's not available. Okay, so there's 2 sites and one of them has been claimed by Frank. So those prices are gonna get jacked up. Carbon, there's a field here. There's someone literally landed in the middle of a field of carbon. There's some there, there's a bunch of iron here. There's actually multiple fields. 3 fields, 4 fields. Well, this is a very tiny field. Right. So if we're going to focus on glass, then silicon is what we need. And silicon is also not plentiful. So I think we might just want to start out and just instantly grab all the silicon. So if we set up here, for example, then we're going to be nice and close. Then there's some water here, there's some silicon there. Ooh, this is a nice triangle. That's a triangle. Actually, then let's set up here. And we're just gonna be very greedy. We're just gonna grab the silicon. Might be a very stupid move. Grabbing it before anything else. We need power, which is not bound to any specific location. Ooh, we can annoy someone by building power over iron if we'd want to, but we're not that petty. Let's see, 0.55, 0.55. Let's set up here, dig up some water in a good spot. Okay, so we got water, we don't have food or oxygen or fuel. That's gonna cost us a lot. So we need to just raise. We need 60 aluminium and 60 steel. So secured, secured, actually almost secured. You just need a little bit more. So sell this, upgrade. Okay, we got our claims secured. We're draining everything we have. So now we need to build up a hydroponics for the food, and then hey, there's actually solar condensers that we can do something with, but I don't think there was ice. So we need the electrolysis reactor. It's gonna cost us more aluminium and steel. So let's sell some of this. Then we have enough for... No, still not enough. Almost enough. Oh, let's just crash the price here. Make sure we got our basics in order. Well, the thing is, we did manage to grab all the silicon on the map. So we are now the kingpins of silicon. which means we can be the Lord of Glass. And yes, I'm just making up these titles as I go along. I'm not quite sure if there's a kingpin or a lord or anything here. Also, we have a bunch of extra core samples. So if we need more, we can always get more. But it's gonna be on our terms, not on anyone else's. Also, we need more wind turbines. So for now, let's just put an auto cell on this, just to drain our supplies a little bit and get some money. Let's get off our debt. Just though, so we don't accumulate too much of it. Okay, water pump. Let's build another one of these. And we can link it up with this one to get a nice triangle going again. So that's gonna sort out our water issues. Oxygen. Yeah. You need water. Okay, so let's just buy a specific tile. Bit on this tile. That's gonna be a water tile. Oh, if we get a claim on that, sure. Why not? And we got it. Excellent. Actually not gonna spend the money just yet, I just hope I'll remember. We actually have this one up here to show that we have a claim on something that we're not using. Yeah, okay, so... Power. Power is what we were gonna fix. Pretty decent spot to put our second one. That should fix things. And we're just using more oxygen than useful. Also, the price here completely tanked. That's not good. So let's start selling the glass, I suppose. And we just need to start using more of this. That's the best way to deal with bottoming out prices. If you don't sell them and just use it, then it's all gonna be good. What's this? Ah, they're shooting transportation out of the air. Okay, that's rather annoying. So we need to upgrade more. So we need aluminium, we need steel. Both are also on a pretty fair price. This is going to be expensive. So we need 100 of each, so we might as well buy a bunch. Oh, frozen buildings for a while. This is going to get painful. Bottom price is just bottomed out. Someone seems to be completely manipulating the market. We were automatically selling the power, because of course that's always what you do. That's also bottoming out. Things are slightly dire there. Oh wait, we shouldn't have sold that much of the glass, because you actually need 30. It's cheaper to just manufacture it yourself, of course. Patent for slant drilling, which means you can actually get access to things from by mining it from the side. If I want to maintain my monopoly on silicon, that's actually what I need to keep, because otherwise they can just build drills next to it. Also, it's gonna allow me to steal resources away from others by building mines next to them. It's just gonna be a very expensive deal. Not quite sure if this is gonna make or break me, but as I said before, I just can't help myself. I have to buy those things. Okay, so this one is still going on. So we actually had... We don't need this stuff. We can just crash the market here a little bit. Just wait here. Someone is completely nuking this market with hacker arrays, I suspect. And we are only producing a very small surplus of food. That's probably something we'll have to fix soon as well. Yes, okay, we are back in business. We still need some oxygen. We're actually not producing enough, which is costing us. But we need more claims. Well, can we do some annoying things by just getting someone else's oxygen for a while? Mutiny, 1.5k for some oxygen, right? That's probably going to be beneficial. Who is making oxygen? Who is leading right now? Frank, where's your oxygen? Glass, glass. This is producing oxygen. I think I'll take it. Thank you. That ought to bring in some for us, and it's gonna cost him. Also, we have a similar thing with one of our elemental mines going on. Business is getting rough. We need to get a little bit more, 12 more to be precise. Also, prices are going up. So let's dump some and then just keep the auto sell on. Also start auto selling some glass since we have more than 30 again. So a specific tile is being sold for aluminium. Are we? It's expensive. It's gonna be less than 10,000. I'll keep it. Nope. Okay, I'm not gonna control myself. I already am too much in debt. Even though it's very, very tempting.
The black market is online.
Now we have exactly 120 of this, so we just need more for the steel. Steel prices are going up, so we might as well just invest a bunch and then the price will just drop down a little bit again. Let's see, anything else we are producing? We have just so much water lying about while the prices are really not good. On the other hand, accumulating more is not going to help us as well. So this is just a small bit of income. It's not a lot, but it's enough. And now we have more claims. Excellent, we're back in the game. That took way longer than I wanted it to. Magnetic storms. Oh yeah, of course, we hit level 3. So we get a magnetic storm. So it can be very annoying to someone. So for example, Frank Dawson. He's leading, so might as well just a big blackout here. Slightly annoying that it doesn't say what it does, actually. So it might be that the storm just disables the ships in the sky or something. Which then of course is not going to be overly useful for us. Right, let's fix our food situation. Let's fix our oxygen situation. And our basic resources have been safeguarded. And let's start producing more glass. Let's see, 1 and 2. Oh, Well, we don't have enough cash for another one. That's completely fair. Let's have a look how this is going to affect our power supply and things like that. Shortage and everything, but Marsquake! Oh no! Well, that means we get good prices for selling just about everything. Dynamite, that's just bit a little bit. No, I don't actually want it. Of course, that's when I'm gonna get it. I sometimes hate this game. Or I hate myself. That's probably a better way to describe it. I just make the stupid mistakes. So we have a claim on water that we're not actually gonna use. Okay. Our power supply prices are very low. It's not really making us a lot for now. We're not going to invest too much in power. So let's invest more in glass. Can we get a patent lab? We had a scientist, right? No, we couldn't afford one yet. Oh, there's a slowdown strike, so we produce less food. It's still enough for ourselves, but it is messing with our production. So we don't have any of these buildings, so we can't actually do anything with it, which is unfortunate. Right, let's start investing in here. So, got 3 more shares. That means we are leading, even though Frank Dawson is giving us a pretty good run for our shares, and Yoji is just quietly accumulating more money. Okay, so in terms of water, let's actually stop auto-selling it, because the prices are rapidly rising for, well, everything actually. But we are just not producing as much. On the other hand, should we just capitalize on this? We actually have a claim, so we might as well grab it. Build more food. Get more resources here. Oh, we're already out of claims. Also, we might be pushing power limits now. Let's see. Build habitat. Okay. Currently we have 50% of the shares. We're doing pretty good in that regard. Carbon scrubbing. Buildings which need carbon collected from the atmosphere. We're currently not doing anything with that, are we? Unless we want to go into the chemicals, which... Yep, couldn't help myself. Want to go... We don't actually need chemicals for anything. Yeah, for buying these for the machine shops. Are we stockpiling anything? Let's just crash the prices a little bit. Just auto sell everything. Well, everything we are producing at least. Can do an upgrade. That's good. So okay, so auto selling water is just messing with our supply. That's slightly annoying. I would expect it to keep a bit of a supply. So let's actually stop auto selling this as well. Just because otherwise it's gonna mess with this over here. And if we don't have any oxygen, that's also gonna be an issue. Speaking of, we need to produce more of that stuff. So let's buy more shares. More glass. Glass price is gonna go up, which means we sell more of it. Also we have claims, might as well expand our glass industries. It's also gonna put a bigger draw on our oxygen and silicon. Also power. This is gonna boost everything. That's probably gonna be a pretty decent move. Water. This is an adjacency bonus. On the other hand, this is gonna give ourselves a triangle bonus. Okay, we have 10, they have 3 and 7. It's the final day. Let's spend more money, get more shares. See if we can get a. Let's see if we can aim for a 60% share. I mean, the debt, it will just get cancelled against our stock of other things. 12 modules out of 22. Another one of these. We are still neutral in terms of production. I think we can actually build another glass kiln. Buying a little bit extra here just to keep ourselves topped up. Oh wait, we're out of selling this. There's of course no point to that. Just sell some of this and 6 hours to go. 15 out of 25 is ours. Let's say doing pretty decent here. Magnetic storm. Let's annoy someone. That's it. So the theory is that it will mess with the ships. So, and it did. It killed some ships that were flying about here. Dynamite. So if we are focusing on glass, that's actually mess up one of your glass kilns, and also because this one is going to be messed up, that's going to break the chain here. Just completely sabotaging a competitor here. And these core samples are not going to be useful because we won't build any more buildings. Things have been shortaged, which means we can make more money, which I'm perfectly fine with. And just last minute we bought 2 more shares. Could have gotten a little bit more, but hey, that's arguing over when you've already won. 17 shares versus 10 for the others. So that's 17 out of 27. That's a pretty darn good percentage. So we made a lot of money selling food. We were actually gonna go for glass, but food slightly out-margined it. It's 209, glass was 204, so they're mostly even. And we spent as much on buying aluminium as we made from food. So that's one thing to keep in mind, why a more balanced strategy and maybe setting up an aluminium mine or making some steel. That was actually our... actually steel was our biggest money sink, aluminium was 2. So maybe dedicating a little bit to it might have been okay. So if you compare this with... well, the silicon actually made some money as well. Power didn't really make a lot, even though we did put a number of buildings for it. But on the other hand, if we wouldn't have built the buildings, we would have been spending money acquiring it. So it's always a trade-off. We actually used sabotage this time, and we targeted Dawson, Frank Dawson, and he targeted me. So this was Yoji me versus Frank, who ended with the lowest share of everybody. So we got the balance sheet, we got the production, we got the structures. Nobody did any optimizations this time. I managed to acquire some patents. So carbon scrubbing wasn't useful for me, but maybe it hindered someone else who would have benefited from it. And slant drilling I did use, I think. And again, it denied it to others. Stock market. I think this was a pretty slow and steady growth. While Yoji and Frank were just slowly dipping down, I just kept it going up. So that's pretty good. But yeah, no, the resource prices in this game were crazy. So water was just almost tanking, and then suddenly it just went completely through the roof after that quake. So thanks to the earthquake, we made a lot of money. So we completely dominated this. 62%. I was aiming for 60, so that's good. We make well, our competitors, because they were actually a bit weaker, we didn't build as many. We only have 16 colonists rather than 20. So we make a bit less, but we make more from a smaller pie. So we still get about 200 per week. And I think before in the other colony, I think I had closer to 50%, but I was making over 200 because the pie was bigger. And in the other maps, the division here was just a third for everybody, and here it was 50-50. So Ilana probably rose the ranks. Silas probably rose the ranks a little bit. So let's have a look. I'm currently the strongest player in terms of stock price. Then we've got Anastasia and San Marino and Frank Dawson and Yoji are now at the bottom of the barrel. Excellent. So the Martian government wants to hire away one of your steel mill engineers and is willing to pay you a tidy sum of 400k in return. I think I want to keep the engineer. So otherwise you lose one. And yeah, they're useful to have, so keep it. And I think that is going to be it for this episode. So next episode we are going to start losing the weakest player after each round. So the stakes are just going to get higher and higher. But that's going to be next episode. So for now, I'm going to thank you very much for watching. And hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.